Mr. President.
I'm going to bring you the new belt to the Oval Office soon after you win. Wow. Freaking wow.
Colby Covington continues to embarrass himself. Earlier today, he went on a Fox News talk show where he's still talking about Leon Edwards' dad. It makes him look even worse that Leon chose to take the high road after the fight, even after Colby is still talking, regardless of if he's still playing his character.
And you're doubling down. You're not even, pulling back on this. You're doubling down on his father.
I'm doubling down. Why would I feel bad for anything I say about someone that is such a criminal and put so much pain in people's lives? I'm not going to feel bad for someone like that. Just like Hitler, he was a terrible person, man.
You're comparing his dad to Hitler.
I'm not comparing him to Hitler, but I'm saying it's that same level of bad guy.
Duh.
He mentions that he broke his foot in the first round, which I'm not going to dog him for because I've never been in that octagon, let alone competed with broken bones, so I can't take anything away from him. I'm not the one in there dealing with that, but you also can't really use that as an excuse as to why you lost the fight. He's the one who threw that naked head kick with no setup at all, so all the credit would go to Leon for blocking that with his elbow.
Covington goes high, Edwards.
So something else that happened in another interview again makes me further question whether or not he's not just trolling about his political beliefs at this point. Jesse Waters from Fox News literally admits he didn't watch the fight and that he's going based solely off of the statistics of the fight, which show that Colby landed more punches and had more control time. Obviously that's not really representative of the other 4 rounds that happened in the fight, only the 5th.
I'm looking at the total strikes here. You got more total strikes. Same amount to the head. You were in control much
5
longer
minutes
than he
more
was.
control time.
I mean, I didn't see the fight, and I'm sorry, but I couldn't make it. But I mean, it looks like you won on paper. Do you think now that you're a Trump supporter, outwardly, this cost you fights?
I do believe that. I think they stacked the deck against us because they don't want we, the people, to have control of this country again. And that's what Trump stands for. He stands for democracy. He stands for freedom. So they're going to do everything they can to keep us down, from shadow banning us online, even if we're saying the truth. They're not going to let us, they're going to make us censored, not let the people see that. If it's in a judging position in a fight or any type of athletic sporting event, they're going to stack the deck against us. So it's a sad time in our country. But, we, the people, we need to rise up, and we can't let this keep us down.
Jesse asked Colby if he thinks the fact that he's a Trump supporter cost him the fight. Now, think of the 37-year-old dad with 14 children who just wants to sit down after a long 12-hour shift and sip on a cold Bud Light. He also didn't get to watch the fight, but now his impression of the UFC is that they're a bunch of Democratic snowflakes that fix fights against fighters that support Trump. All because Colby still plays this dumbass character, maintaining that he won the fight while still preaching his political beliefs. You gotta differentiate the two, brother. Another thing I thought that was pretty funny was how he claims to be a company man and how he hadn't turned down a fight the whole time he'd been inactive for the past almost 2 years. He blamed it on every other fighter. They're the ones not accepting the fight. But then he proceeds to dodge Shavkat Rakhmonov when the reporters ask about him instead of leaning into that Wonderboy fight, which everyone knows is just an excuse for Colby to crotch sniff his way to an easy win for a payday.
So that's what's been the delay is other fighters not agreeing to the fights and not doing business for the UFC. It's not my fault that I had to sit out that long. It's the other people's fault. You think Hunter Campbell, Dana White would put me in this position to be the UFC welterweight #1 contender if I was turning down fights and sitting out 18 months? No. I accepted every single fight they offered.
And I know you just showed your adamance towards fighting Wonderboy Thompson next, but there was another welterweight out that fought tonight, Shavkat Rakhmonov. If the UFC decided to go down that route, is that something you would welcome, fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov next?
It doesn't really make sense. I think, Wonderboy has a bigger name. It's a bigger fight for the division, bigger business for the UFC.
There's people been ducking me.
Never said no one time in my career. So I wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for me always being a yes man and wanting to be the ultimate company man.
I also rewatched his Brett Okamoto interview that he had during fight week as well, and he mentioned how his dumbass squandered an opportunity to wrestle for Iowa under Dan Gable because he got a DUI. It's just funny to me that he talks about what a bad person Leon's father is and how he compares him to Hitler in this interview when he's lucky he didn't kill someone while he was driving intoxicated. Would have been a completely different story under the right circumstances.
And I just remember those guys believing in me, but I was so immature at the time. Like I didn't make good decisions, but just like you said, no one's perfect. We all make mistakes. So I had to have some failures and some setbacks during that time to go on this course. I got in a little trouble. I had a drunken driving incident, a DUI, and it was tough to process because I was so young and not mature at that time. A 19-year-old kid, not even grown up, just a little kid, just not making good decisions. And it was tough. It was very hard because hope in me. They gave up on me, essentially. They didn't think that I could deserve a second chance. They said, hey, nope, that was the one chance you got. That's it. So, I think that was a little harsh. I think they should have not given up on me so easily. I think they should have realized I'm a 19-year-old kid. We make mistakes. Tell me one person in this room today that hasn't made a mistake or is perfect. The only perfect person in this world is God. So for someone to just lose hope after one hopeless night, like, I thought it was a little cruel. I thought it was unfair, but, life's not fair.
And the only reason he brought up Leon's dad was to fuck with Leon in the first place. He has no relationship with him whatsoever to even be bringing him up and calling him out for the bad things he did. Even Leon has acknowledged that he was involved in bad shit, but Colby brought up his father in bad faith. That's like the spot, bringing up Miles' dad's death, his canon event. Something so tragic that Leon says fucked him up so bad for the longest time that also led him down that same path, and Colby decides to use that for entertainment. Maybe I sympathize with Leon more because I didn't really have a father figure during my formative years, so I have that bias, I guess, but I don't know. I'm just glad to see that Colby didn't win and he's getting clowned. This is the dude who started bringing up the horrible personal stuff that Tony Ferguson was dealing with from all this CTE damage he has in a press conference in front of the whole world because Tony says he's more American than him. He's still choosing to double down on Leon's father and comparing to Hitler. Like I said, this isn't who we should be championing as a society, honestly. To be calling someone as wholesome as Wonder Boy, who's giving back to his community, a PDF file is like disgusting. Again, I'm glad Colby's getting heat, and yeah, peace out.
The entertainment that I'm bringing to them, and they pay their hard-earned money to watch us. So, I want to give them a show every time I'm out there, not just inside the octagon, but outside too. I want everything to be just a show where they feel like it's a story and they want to buy into it.
Thank you all for the hey. You're all a bunch of broke anyways. You.